My, my next speaker, our next speaker is a dear friend of mine from London. I've known her for, dare I say it, nearly 2 decades, when she was an activist fighting for social, racial justice. Then she supported one of our great MPs, Diane Abbott. And then I kept saying to her, when I kept seeing her on the road, dealing with so much stuff, I used to say to her, sister, you need to be a parliamentarian too. She said, no, I'm in the back room just supporting. And we'd say to her, sister, step up. You know what she did? She stepped up. and now, she's a fearless parliamentarian. I'm in the upper chamber, in the Lords. She's where all the action is, in the House of Commons. Give a warm round of applause to Belle Ribeiro-Addy, Member of Parliament in the UK.
Thank you very much, and good morning to you all. It's such a huge pleasure to be here. I was really pleased to be here last year, actually at the invitation of Reverend Sharpton, and just to see all the great work that Nan is doing in bringing people together right across this country, and actually right across the world as well. And I was so pleased to hear our keynote speaker at the beginning, Ambassador. That was absolutely fantastic. And I think it's so important that we start with something like that, and we talk about the importance of our unity, because we've allowed so much to divide us, from the lines that were drawn across the African continent when they divided it all up and decided what they would take, to the sea when people were taken across the sea and enslaved. But our unity has always been our greatest strength. Now, I think back about the history that I've learned about the slave revolts and the independence struggles, and I think about the fact that even though they didn't have access to all of the things that we have access to today, I can send someone a message instantly right across the world, but they were able to coordinate themselves. They were able to coordinate themselves and achieve all of these huge things, ending this huge institution, the transatlantic slave trade, how massive that was. Look at what they were able to do, and look at what we have and what we should be able to do if we move forward and work together. Now, what I would say is that my political education has always been the most privilege I've ever had. I wasn't a privileged person coming up, but as an activist, I was able to be in contact with people like Lord Simon Woolley. I'd actually able to see Reverend Sharpton speak in the UK many, many different times. And it's important that we educate our young people, but it's important that we give them that political education, because with that political education, not do you only learn things about yourself that you would never learn in school. Not only do you learn your importance, you learn that you are worthy to be in all of these spaces which they try and keep us out of. And we need to be in those spaces. We need our youth to understand that what they have to say and their views and their experience are just as valuable as anybody else's. That political education is so important. And with that, we bring about a unity of purpose. So our global movements, through all of that activism, have made a massive difference. And I think about what happened following the death of George Floyd, and the worldwide protests that were sparked, and the impact that it had in our country. It had a fantastic impact. People coming out, asking questions, trying to educate themselves. Some people were doing it very tokenistically, I might say, but there were people re-educating themselves, understanding things they didn't know before, and also asking questions about reparations, very importantly. But then, every time we move forward, somebody wants to drag us back. And in the UK, in response to the protest sparked by the death of George Floyd, do you know what they did? They produced a report. They said, we're going to have another report. And we've had many, many of these reports in the UK. Something happens, people start wringing their hands, and then they say, oh my gosh, that's really bad, isn't it? Oh, it's so racist. Oh, why is this happening? And they go off, people sit for a long time, write a report, come up with recommendations, and the government ignored it. The report that these people produced, called the Sewell Report, decided to tell us that there was no institutional racism in the UK. It even went as far as to say that we should try and re-look at how we talk about slavery, reimagine the way we speak, as if it was some sort of pleasure cruise and the privilege that we would have had for it. Absolutely disgusting behaviour. And even though it was debunked by Black people right across the country, they were still trying to push this forward. And I think this is very, very important, because they used Black people to write that report. And what we have to understand is that they will use us to destroy us. We do it every single time. Now, another one of the leaders that I've been privileged to know, Lee Jasper, always used to say to me, not all my skinfolk are my kinfolk.
Right.
Because divide and rule will be used again and again, and we have to be clear about the difference between diversity and representation. Now, I'm going to spell it out here that diversity is so important. It's important that younger people get to see people that look like them in positions of power. That's good. It's good we see that reflected. But that is not representation, because unless you are reflecting the views of the people that you claim to represent, that is not representation at all. And I tell you what a difference representation can make. I'm one of 15 black women in UK's parliament, and we never thought that we would see that many black women, even though we have a country that should in this situation. And it's so key, because that means that I can speak about things that other people can't. That means that I was able to launch an all-party parliamentary group on reparations on becoming elected, which means that the UK, the sun which never set on the British Empire, now has a parliamentary group within it talking about reparations and making that restitution, making those payments, making those community reparations. It is so important. So, I just want to thank Reverend Sharpton and everybody involved here, and just push on that issue of a political education. If you teach a young person what it is that society does not want them to know about yourself, you wouldn't have no idea how empowered they can be. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Come on when you teach, when you inspire. That's how it is. That's what we do. You have to remember that I was struck by a few of the comments that she made, harking back to the heroes and sheroes that never stop fighting. When you think about Marcus Garvey, the Honourable Marcus Garvey, think about this for a second. There was no Twitter, no Instagram, no mobile phones. And he garnered over 4 million people into a movement. What does that say about us? It's our time.